Since Mamamoo has recently made a comeback with Oh Ah Yeh Ahh, I thought it would be fitting to make a tier list for them. Remember that everything said is my personal opinion. You don't have to agree, and if you didn't know, I literally stan Mamamoo, so why would I be trying to hate on any of their releases? I purposely designed the tier list so that there would be an even distribution of eras per tier. Let me explain the tiers first. We have 5 tiers ranging from insert ad-lib to meh. The ad-lib tier is for comebacks that are mind-blowingly good and I will never forget. The meh tier is for comebacks that I dislike. I'll go through the eras in chronological order, and for each one I'll explain why I feel that way about it, with the relevant footage being used. Don't worry, it doesn't just show the tier list the whole time. I included solo comebacks as well. Oh, and feel free to comment which of the tiers you would put each era in. Now, as Solo would say, Lego! This is one of my favorite releases from them, so I'm going to give it an amazing. The jazzy sound that Mamamoo had at their debut is actually still my favorite style of music from them, and while they have moved on, I'm still pretty stuck on it. This song in particular rocks. How can you not bop along whenever you hear it? The debuts of other groups tend to rank low, but compared to them, Mamamoo's debut is much better and thus deserving of a high rank. No wonder they won Rookie of the Year. When I watch stages from this era, I'm always surprised at the confidence they project on stage. They literally sound and act so close to how they do now, even without that experience. I really think that their earlier eras are underappreciated. Everyone go stream them. Now again, the jazzy sound is my thing, but this isn't as good as Mr. Ambiguous, so I'll put it in pretty good. It does kind of feel like a lower grade Mr. Ambiguous, and though it does keep that same style, I don't really like the heavy piano that they used in the song. Now although the song is just alright, this era is redeemed by its amazing stages and concept. That's just their performance skills though. The styling was not it. I maintain that Mamamoo's songs are better when seen and heard. And for Piano Man this is very true. Again, the performances are just on another level. I think that Wheein especially shined in this era. I have got to stop giving them so many performance points. Otherwise at this rate every song will rank high. It's just that for so early in their career, it is just that much more impressive. This is one of my favorite songs from them ever, so I have got to put it in the ad-lib tier, which is quite fitting considering this is where so many of their iconic ad-libs come from. This song is perfect in every way. I wasn't a fan when this came out, but it was watching their old stages of this song that made me stan them. When I first found out about it, I couldn't stop singing and dancing it because it's just that good. It's upbeat, but still has a chill instrumental, which is something that is starting to feel rare nowadays. You cannot listen to it without smiling. And we can't talk about this era without mentioning the iconic music video and stages. They went all out. The concept is creative and doesn't take itself too seriously, which I love. And even though half the time they dressed up as guys, it somehow managed to result in some of their best styling at the same time. I don't even know how that works. I still think that their older eras are underappreciated, and this is my favorite era of theirs. Stream Oh Ah Yeh. I'll also give my opinions on Oops since that's technically a part of this era as well. This song is alright, but it's not their best ever. The styling and music video are both average, and I don't really think about any of it much, to be honest. But what really sucks about this song is how much they screwed Esna over. She was the best thing about this song. And listening to her talk about how RBW changed her song into something she didn't want to be promoting is really sad. I'll link to her video where she talks about it, in English in the description. It really gives an insight into how K-pop companies suck the artistry out of the K-pop. Their first win, which was achieved during this era, couldn't have been more deserved. This song gets an amazing. It's another song that just makes you want to bop. And though no songs could come close to Oh Ah Yeh, this one still gets this high rank because I think it's just great. I like the brass they had in here, and Moonbyul's 2 raps in this are some of my favorites of hers, and the vocals here were so smooth. As for the styling, I don't think it was that great, but it did fit the concept, so I'm not gonna argue. Of course the stages were amazing with Wheein's iconic, as well as others. I can't really explain to you why this song wouldn't be in the ad-lib tier. It is perfect in every way except when I compare it to the songs that I will end up placing there. Still, it is of course amazing and you should show it some love. I know I have been quite positive so far, but unfortunately this one just didn't hit as hard for me, and I'm going to have to give it an average. The song and all that is pretty good, it's not bad, but it's not even close to their previous releases. I do like it when they perform it, but I wouldn't listen to it much by itself. The rap is one of the only redeeming factors, and that wouldn't be too much of a deal breaker. But do you know what is? There are guys in the music video and it's not that great. If you haven't seen the behind the scenes of them filming the kiss scenes, it's pretty funny because they are clearly so uncomfortable doing it. I read somewhere that the guy is actually gay, which I can't confirm, but if true makes the scene even funnier when you watch it. I mean, they dedicate a whole minute of the video to just that, and also self-indulgent shots of them taking blindfolds off, and it looks more cringy than sexy or anything. But hey, at least they tried. I'll put this one in amazing. I actually knew about and liked this song when I first got into K-pop, but I didn't really know who Mamamoo were. It had come on random shuffle and let me tell you, I was obsessed, and yet it never came to my mind to really check them out further, which at this point in time I do regret. It's upbeat and colorful, which is my favorite kind of song. Honestly, the song is great, not their best, though, but where this era really shines for me is in the styling and the message. I'm a big fan of Solar and Moonbyul's hair colors especially. There's also a lot of color in the music video, which I like because it makes this one of their more memorable music videos. Their previous music videos all had some sort of weird color grading or vintage looking filter on them, which I can't really describe, but if you watch them you'll know it's there. But this music video broke that trend and it made such a big difference. If you watched it for the first time when it came out, you might wonder if this is really a Mamamoo music video. It is, and I love it, and the message of the song is really a great one. Even without looking up the lyrics, you get the message. Yes, I am. I approve. While this era was cool, it wasn't mind-blowing, so I'll give it a pretty good. I'm happy that they tried a new style, but I'm not sure if it really worked out. I think that the music video was good in concept, but I don't like how they did a lot of editing to the natural scenes. I think it would have been better if they didn't color the grass and whatnot. New Zealand is pretty on its own. The song and stages were both pretty good, as expected of this tier name. They got a lot of criticism for not having a hard dance, but I don't know what you expect when they do live vocals. The dance suited the concept as well, and I liked it a lot. And then the styling was pretty good too. My favorite in nearly every stage is Solar, who looks fantastic with her Daenerys hair. I would also like to mention Be Calm, which I guess is technically a part of this era. It's one of my favorite slower songs. I actually enjoy listening to it, which is weird because usually I despise slow songs. So yeah, this era is pretty great. I feel like no one remembers or even knows that this exists, but I think about it all the time because it goes right into the ad-lib tier. This is not talked about nearly as much as it should be. It is literally an incredible song. It is so perfect. It is calm, but it has an attitude, and it is emblematic of the general chillness that Wheein has all the time. Like you would normally think that Wheein is that sweet vocalist and is the ballady type. Don't get me wrong, she is, but this totally broke the mold. This song works for any mood you are in. It could make you cry or make you dance, and that's amazing to me. and the music video has that blue and pink aesthetic that is one of my favorites. Literally there is nothing bad about this. Even the dude who is in it actually makes the song better, not worse. I am going to remember this song for a very long time because it is just that fantastic. When the girls start to go solo, it's really a hit or miss because it's all so different. And thankfully this one is a hit as well. It'll be an amazing for me. When this came out I didn't look at it for Moonbyul. I looked at it because Red Velvet are my alts. But it ended up being so good that I put it on my playlists anyway. This song is again so fun, and that's what I like about it. It's really fresh. I'm so happy that Moonbyul collabed with Seulgi out of all people because Seulgi brought the vocals and vibe to make this song great. And of course they are friends, so that helped out too. It really suited the climate that it was released in. I remember that it was generally just a very upbeat time in K-pop, and this fit right into the trend. The message of self-indulgence is one that we've seen before, but not in the light-hearted way that they presented it with this concept. If Moonbyul and Seulgi can go have fun and play video games together, then we can too. Everything about this release is so aesthetic. I feel like you could make a whole account just dedicated to this exact theme, and I love that about it. I don't really get the hype around this one. It's gonna be an average for me. I do not like Latin sounds at all, and at the time maybe it was a good idea, but we all know that now the trend is really overdone. And since we are looking at these eras from today's perspective, it just doesn't rank that high for me. I think that in this era we had a lot of iconic moments in the song, and the performances were pretty good, but I feel like it doesn't pull together. Also, I did not really like the styling this era, or the music video. Unfortunately, the only thing I liked in the music video was the pole dancing. Now I would put this in meh, but the redeeming quality of this era is the album, which is one of my favorites from them. Sleep in the Car, Rainy Season, iconic, I tell you. I really enjoy their performances of those songs in particular. Sleep in the Car especially has the funniest meaning. If you don't know it, you have got to look it up. I can't really say anything about whether I like or dislike this era, because it just doesn't have that much presence to me. I'm putting it an average as well. While I really like the concept for this release, the song is not particularly to my taste. I can't pinpoint what about any of this I don't like, to be honest, but I think that because it is a slower song and generally flew under the radar, I just don't think it crosses my mind as much. The stages for this song also were not as impressive as some for their other songs. Lack of iconicness does not necessarily make an era bad, and I do like the concept a lot, which is why this is an average and not meh. The styling is absolutely amazing. Of course, we all knew Hwasa would get her solo debut eventually, and for me this was a pretty good one. I don't think the song aged well at all, but I do remember liking it a lot when it came out. Her voice does sound especially good on it, and the concept and all that really plays to Hwasa's strengths. However, one thing that I absolutely despise about the song is how she pronounces Twit like. And I know that's a stylistic choice and not even a pronunciation issue because she pronounces it just fine later in the song, and Solar also pronounces it correctly in her cover of it. So the fact that they chose to do it on purpose is what makes it so much worse. You probably think I am crazy for caring so much about this, but it is what it is. Aside from that, I'm not really in love with the styling either, but Hwasa looks good in whatever she's in, so I can't argue with it. I felt like there was too much going on all the time, in all parts of the song. I do enjoy the stages, though. It's in pretty good because yes, I can point out things that I don't like about it, but if you look at it as a whole, none of those individual problems have that much of an impact on the overall effect. We've been a little negative so far, so for a change of pace, this one is going right to the ad-lib tier. After Oh Ah Yeh, this is my second favorite OT4 era, and I would also say that it's the era that I first realized that Mamamoo were kind of a big deal. I really like the direction they chose to go with this one. It's so different from everything they had done before. It is creative, but not so out there that it would be shocking. The song, while not their best song, is definitely up high on my list. The concept is again not particularly innovative, but they pull it off well. But my favorite thing about this era was the fact that it was the start of a new direction for Mamamoo. They said themselves that they wanted to try something new this era, which you can tell by the fact that it was one of, if not the hardest of their dances at the time. I think that they embraced the change, which worked well for them. And can we talk about the styling? It was a Wheein era for sure. None of the other members even came close to how good she looked this era, but the other members' styling was still iconic. Blonde is still my favorite hair color on Moonbyul, so that raises her rating. Solar and Hwasa kind of look the same as they usually do, but they know what they are doing with that style, so it still works for me. Additionally, this is my favorite mini album of theirs. I'm so glad that they decided to promote Waggy, but My Star and Where Are You are also among some of my favorite B-sides from them. And then 25 is pretty iconic as well. Like I said, it was a Wheein era for sure. Overall, one of their best eras. We stan. I do think that this era is underrated. The amount of views the music video has is sad, but unfortunately it's gonna have to be the first meh of this video. Like I've said, slow songs are just not really my thing, and when they go solo it's really a hit or a miss kind of thing. Easy was a hit, this is a miss. Now, even though I myself don't like it because of the song, I have to praise the message and music video. Wheein really said gay rights with this one. I think it was one of the first K-pop music videos to depict a lesbian relationship, and it's really emotional at that. It matches the lyrics, which are quite deep if you take a look at them, and her voice in this was fantastic. Now I'm having second thoughts about putting it in meh, but I'll put my foot down. My hatred of ballads is enough for this. However, I do think that this style really suits Wheein, and I wouldn't be mad if she decided to do more of it. I just wouldn't listen that often. I do think that everyone should go check it out, especially if you like ballads. This is my favorite Mamamoo album, and it's going in amazing. The proportion of amazing songs to okay songs is not as high as in their other releases like White Wind, but in terms of sheer number of songs that I like, this one wins out. The album is a whole entire journey. It's really good, but I love everything else about this era, too. Hip is a really powerful song, and I really like to exercise to it because it is exactly the type of song to get you pumped up. The bridge is the best part by a lot, especially Hwasa's part of it, which is my favorite. Everything about the song is so iconic, like literally every part could be described as the most iconic part. And now the styling was so good. There was a change in hair color or style for all members, and you all know I love myself some brightly colored hair, so Moonbyul and Wheein totally won out on that front. The fact that they decided to do not one concept, but 4 concepts in 4 universes is what really gets me. They did every style imaginable and somehow looked good in all of them. Black magic. But I can't talk about this era without talking about the performances. The dance was so good, it was definitely worth trying the head mics for the first time. People used to say that Mamamoo couldn't dance, but gogobebe and Hip totally proved them wrong. The styling for a lot of the stages was questionable, especially that one hairstyle Solar had with the 4 braids, which does keep this era out of the ad-lib tier. However, what I cannot talk about Hip era without talking about is the Mamamoo 2019 performance. This is my favorite awards show performance of all time. Mamamoo have the stage presence, dancing skills, and vocals to pull this off, and that combined with the amazing arrangement of the song with the added dance break is what pushed it over the top. Even if you don't like Mamamoo, you have to go see this one performance. This was the era that I started to stan Mamamoo. Thanks Moonbyul, it's a pretty good for me. The first thing I thought when I heard the song was that it sounded like something that EXO would do, which I still think is accurate. But then I came to understand that it's not a boy group song that Moonbyul co-opted. It's a song done in her own style, which also happens to match many boy group songs. And that's something I can vibe with. Once I watched one performance of this song, it was like I fell down a Moonbyul rabbit hole. The stages of this song are literally so good. This is something that she could never do with Mamamoo, and it's so great that she got to do it on her own. Now the song and stages and all that are, well, unique, still pretty average. I like them. They aren't bad, but it's more because of the charisma of Moonbyul herself that they do well. But the album is what I really like about this era. It's a very honest and in your feelings kind of album. My favorite song and also kind of my personal anthem is LG2, which is about procrastination. I can highly relate. Yup, this era is exactly as the tier describes. Pretty good. I'm really sorry Solar, but this is another meta. While I appreciate the message and I like how Solar is unapologetically herself in the whole thing, I cannot vibe with this song. It is a weird mashup of things, and it didn't match the concept at all. I don't like how she says set fire fire fire, as I think that was kind of unnecessary and the song would sound better if you got rid of it. The concept matches the song better when I look back on it, but I think that's more because I now associate the two from just looking at it so much rather than them actually matching. There are so many things. Now although the song and concept were both a hot mess, I did like the star presence. And she looks possibly the best she has ever looked, second to only Starry Night era. She had the gay boots. She had the green onion dress. Every part of the styling was iconic, and for that I give her credit. It's also great how she is in control of her styling, and still chooses to do innovative things like, well, going bald. I think she had a really good time preparing for and performing during this era, and that's great for her. I just personally can't get over the song. I won't lie, I didn't even know that this comeback existed until researching for this video, so I'm going to put it in med. I don't think that it's bad per se, but it was unnecessary. I don't know why it really happened, and I'm still unsure if it even counts as a comeback. Yeah, she released a physical album, but there wasn't promotion or anything, which I supposed is why I didn't know about it. Like, there just isn't much to talk about in terms of this era. All we have is this one song and performance video. The actual song is pretty good. It's emotional, and it's mostly vocals, which is not something I expected for Moonbyul to do at all. It's totally different from Eclipse, even though she looks exactly the same. The vibes are definitely not, especially at the end of the song. I was going wow because I just didn't know she could do that kind of thing. No one can say Moonbyul can't sing ever again. I will not hear it. The same commentary applies to Satellite as they are kind of similar. I see why this flew under the radar, and they should have made this into a full comeback, because I just don't think I can judge it fairly. I can see what they were trying to do with this one, but I don't think that it hit as hard as Twit did, so I'm putting it an average. It's not bad by any means. I like the lyrics a lot. If you didn't know, she's basically talking to herself throughout the song because her baptismal name is Maria. She even has a tattoo of it on her neck. But the song itself is not for me. Everyone is saying the breakdown in the middle is iconic and all that, but I don't see it. I think that part kind of takes away from the power that the bridge has. I prefer the other songs on the album, even LMM. As for the concept, it's just okay. Again, there was a mishmash of stuff like in Twit, but at least this time it was more cohesive. It was full of roses and death. I think that's the best way to describe it. Like I said, this comeback was just okay. I am looking forward to what she will put out in the future, though. Technically this era isn't over, so I can't judge it too well, but so far it is shaping up to be pretty good. I won't lie, I was really disappointed in this release at first. I thought it was a rip-off of Egotistic. and I wished they had done something more similar to Hip. For their first group comeback in a year, it seemed underwhelming. But watching the performances, I realized that this song cannot be judged fully on its own. If there was one Mamamoo song that had to be performed to understand it, it's this one. Watching the dance is all you really need to see how good it is. I think it's meant to showcase their power. They're powerful in vocals and dance, and this is the full package right here. The styling and all that is not very remarkable, though I do like the makeup. I know I keep saying that every era is a Wheein era, but I swear that she also stood out the most here, maybe tied with Solar. I mean, her makeup is so good. I'll also talk a little bit about Dingga. I'm glad this was a pre-release because this would have been underwhelming as a title track. But when you put it next to Oh Ah Yeh Ahh, its purpose is clearly to show their versatility. It's fun and chill, and it talks about the very relatable problem of not being able to see your friends right now. It shouldn't be hated on for being low quality because that's not the point. The music video and stages for it show their group chemistry. Mamamoo's ability to be cohesive as a group and show that off on stage is one of my favorite things about them. I like that the girls' solo stuff allows them to express themselves to the fullest. You know that everything that is included is really what they wanted to be there, and the fact that all the solos are so different shows that. When you look at the solos, you'd wonder how they come together as a group, and yet they do. Every group comeback has an indescribable Mamamoo energy, even the eras that rank low on the list. They are always pushing themselves to try something new with every comeback. Stan Mamamoo. That's all I've got for this tier list. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to comment what tier you would put each era in. Bye guys, and I'll see you in the next one.